Today I'm going to be doing a tabletop review and a unboxing of a red dot sight made by Bushnell. It is the TRS-25. Specifically, it is part number AR731306C. The C indicating that this particular product ships in a clamshell. It is also available as part number AR731306, which is the exact same item except I believe it ships in a box. Now in the past I've done at least one review of the TRS-25, and I've used multiple TRS-25s by Bushnell on different rifles from AKs and ARs. And they've always proven to be very reliable sights, especially for a sub $100 sight. And I think street price is more right around $80. So for that kind of money, what are you really looking at getting in the market? You're going to get something probably designed for airsoft or some other Chinese-made cheap garbage product. This is definitely not that type of product. This, in my opinion, is a very high quality sight for the money that has proven itself to be reliable, and not just with me, by many other shooters out in the community that have used these sights. I will note that I do believe this is also made in China, but I don't want to knock Chinese-made products, but the problem with that, normally when you hear that it was made in China, is the assumption is it's very low quality. Well, some stuff that comes out of China is very low quality and cheap, and it's garbage. Other stuff is really high quality. Figure, just for case in point, the iPhone. If you run an iPhone, hey, that's made in China, and honestly, it doesn't get much better than that when it comes to quality. So don't dismiss something that's not made in the USA as being of poor quality. Most of the products you have in your house are probably made in China. Your stereo equipment, your TV sets, and your appliances. A lot of your appliances, your furniture, and so on and so on. So you just get a lot of different qualities. That's what you just have to be careful of. So anyway, moving back to the Bushnell, the TRS-25 is not a new sight on the market. It's been around for years. It's proven itself. Now this particular item that we're looking at, this is a updated version of the TRS-25, and this particular one ships with a rail mount for mounting on an AR type rifle. I believe this mount is a 1-inch mount. I'll measure that, but I believe it's a 1-inch mount, and it gives you a lower 1/3 co-witness when you get it set up on your rifle. If you wanted to do a true co-witness, where your sights line up with the red dot, you'd have to get a smaller mount. I believe, to the best of my knowledge, there's only one on the market that fits that bill, and it's made by UTG, and I believe it's a 0.83 of an inch. So it's a little shorter than this one that gives you a full proper co-witness. And that's what most people who buy TRS-25s, that's normally what they go with if they're going to put it on an AR, is they go with the UTG sight, or the UTG riser. So I'll talk about some specs on this in a minute. What we're looking at here, like I mentioned, is the clamshell version. It ships in this plastic bag, which you probably can't make out much detail because of the plastic bag, but I wanted to show you how it actually ships to you if you get the clamshell version. The clamshell version is cheaper than getting the one in the box, so it's something to keep in mind, that you can save $10, $8 by going with the clamshell over the box. So let me get this out, and we'll take a look at the actual packaging. Okay, the bag is it isn't hermetically sealed. It's just taped shut. So I removed this from the bag. This clamshell type design is a retail type of packaging, a POP packaging for hanging on a pegboard in like a retail store. So you might see this particular packaging in Cabela's or any of the other major resellers that sell firearms parts, Walmart and so on. It isn't a clamshell that just pops open. You're going to have to cut this thing open, which I've not done yet. So the packaging, again, there's not much to say about this. Back side of the packaging lists, excuse me there, lists applications, rifle, shotgun, removable riser block, 3 MOA dot, extra long battery life, waterproof and fog proof to 10 feet, and 11 position brightness control. And there's a disclaimer that says this product contains chemicals known to the state of California to cause cancer and or birth defects. So you got a couple of barcodes, and that's about it with the packaging. This packaging is nice, but unlike the box, it doesn't really, once you take it out of the packaging, you're pretty much going to toss it. I know in the past when I've had boxes with my sights, I always keep the boxes. That way, if they're not on the rifle, I store them in the box, because the box normally has foam or some other protective material in it. So that's what you're kind of giving up if you buy one of these clamshell sights. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and we'll take a look at the contents. Okay, so this is the contents of the package. This is a folded up user manual. So we've got a CR2032 lithium battery, this is the main user manual for using the product. There is a Allen wrench, a microfiber cloth wipe for cleaning of the lens, and the last item is a card tells you to go to their website and register the product for specials and priority access to customer service, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The owner's manual, which is all folded up into a small little piece, kind of hard to unfold and read, which I'm not going to waste time going over, but that's the contents of the package. The sight itself comes installed already on the riser, and you've got the bikini style lens covers, which I've not had a problem with these bikini style covers, although I don't particularly like them. These have not broken on me in the past. I know these can be extremely cheap on some inexpensive Red Dot sites. These bikini covers, these securing straps or securing pieces have a tendency to break, and the bikini covers become useless. I have not experienced that with the Bushnell TRS-25s. Right off the bat, what I notice with this sight is I notice that the Bushnell logo is in a different color, and I don't know if that's unique to this model, this TRS-25. They call this the high-rise model because it comes with the high-rise mount, or if all of the sights are this new updated logo design. The previous one was yellow. I don't have one here to compare, but from my recollection, it was yellow, and it might have been a different font or maybe placed a little bit different. So since this one's brand new, things could have changed since the last time I've used a TRS-25, which has been a couple of years. The bikini cap cover looks the same as the other ones I've used. It's just a rubber cap cover. Can't really comment too much about that. Only time will tell if it is durable. This particular generation of TRS-25 has, of course, the tinted front lens on it. And what may or may not be visible, depending upon if I can capture it, is the lens itself is actually tilted back to prevent reflections. So if it does make a reflection, the reflection isn't going to go like this. Supposedly it goes up at an angle. So somebody wouldn't see the flash from your red dot sight if you were aiming at them, if that was the type of situation you were in. But I assume if you were in that type of situation, you'd probably run some sort of a kill flash on your red dot or your scope anyway. But that's one thing I noticed. I don't recall if the previous generation Bushnell TRS-25s were like that. One of the other things I've noticed right off the top of my head, the previous generation TRS-25, the emitter for the red dot was kind of at the 4 or 5 o'clock position right here where my pinky is. This one appears to be at the 6 o'clock position. So that is a change, which I'm assuming is a change for the better. Probably helps with helps with the co-witnessing if you're using a mount that gives you 1/3 lower co-witness. That would be my guess. The adjustments, you know, for your windage and your elevation are the same. They've got the screw-on caps. Excuse me while I take this off camera just a moment. And I'll just take these off. So you have some nice aluminum caps with knurled surface. And you can see that there's a rubber O-ring on the bottom of these, so when the cap screws down, it's secure against an O-ring to keep moisture out. These are also have a direction arrow on them right there, which so it basically tells you if you turn in the direction of the arrow, that's right. The top one has an arrow, and if you turn in the direction of the arrow, that moves a red dot up. I believe this is roughly the same as the other generation that I reviewed. One thing to note that I don't like is the fact that these caps are not captured in any way, shape, or form. If you're trying to mess around with this in the field, chances are you're going to lose this cap. The other thing that I don't like on this that I like on other products, some products ship with a cap that has a little riser on the top that can be used to make adjustments. So you can actually use the cap as a tool. This does not have that. So you're going to have to use a shell casing, which I believe works on this, a shell casing, or a penny, a dime, or a screwdriver, flat blade screwdriver to make adjustments. Two things I'd like to see on this is captured caps so you don't lose them. Easy thing to do. Other manufacturers do that. And then the addition of a nub on this so you can use it as an adjustment tool. Other than that, good O-ring, good caps, metal caps. The CR2032 battery goes in this compartment right here. It also can be loosened or tightened using a tool or a dime or a penny, something of that nature. Of course, I don't think you need a tool to do that. I'm using my fingers. So if we open this up, you can see we've got our battery compartment right there, and we have a nice aluminum cap here with spring retention, and the cap actually has a rubber O-ring on it to keep moisture out from the battery compartment. I don't have anything else to say about that area. So let me take the sight off of the mount, and we'll take a look at the mount as a separate item. Okay, using the included Allen wrench, you can loosen up the Allen bolt right here on the sight, and it will come off the mount. So before I talk about the mount, let's talk about this mounting facility here. So, for example, if you were going to use this on a pistol, or say like an AK on a Ultimac rail or something of that nature, you could use this mounting mechanism. Now, this mounting mechanism, my biggest gripe with this is it's not removable. Some of the other sights on the market that would be comparable to this one, for example, Primary Arms products and the Hollow Sun, those have removable mounts. And when you remove this, your options for high-rise mounts is plentiful. But when you have a sight like this with this integrated mount, you have to either mount this on a Picatinny rail like so, or you have to find a high-rise mount that has a built-in Picatinny rail like this. There's not a lot of these on the market, and to be honest with you, there really isn't any high-end ones. They're all low-end mounts. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, they'll get the job done, but you know, finding one made by a high-end manufacturer, they just don't make these types of mounts, so you're really limited. Like I mentioned, there's a few 1-inch mounts that will give you 1/3 co-witness, and there's only one that I found that will give you a true co-witness, and that's the UTG. So that's something to keep in mind. I think that, you know, as a second generation of the TRS-25, I think this mount down here should be removable. Other manufacturers do it, and they make relatively inexpensive red dots, you know, Primary Arms and the Hollow Sun. I think both of those come out of the same factory, and they kind of follow after the Aimpoint T1H1 design, because that's what the you know, if you're going to make a comparison of any of these sights, you're going to be comparing it to the T1 and the H1 Aimpoint. So working within those constraints, I mean, we're still at a sub $80 sight here. So I mean, we're still getting a good quality sight. Now, this is the first time I've actually seen this type of mount. And to be honest with you, I don't like these types of mounts that use these big bolts. I would much prefer that these are low profile so they don't snag. I've had mounts like this that have big nuts or bolts on them, and they've gotten snagged on things. I've also used some that had quick release handles, and the handles stuck out too far, and they've got snagged on things and popped loose, and I've lost my sight. So I'm not a real big fan of things that stick out that can get caught, because that's just my luck, I guess. If I've got something like that, it's going to end up getting caught on something. This isn't too bad, but again, it could very well be much improved if it had, you know, a small Allen-headed bolt like this on the other side, something much more low profile. So with that said, The other thing that I don't like about this is that you'll notice that you've got a full, 2 inches or so of clamping area right here to clamp against your Picatinny rail, but right here you've got only this small section. Again, that is a bad design in my opinion. It wouldn't really take a whole lot more effort to make this piece run from here to here, so you get much better clamping force on your rifle. I don't know why it's done this way. It's probably a cost-saving measure to keep these inexpensive, would be my guess. The other thing to note is that these don't have any type of locking mechanism on them. When I use something like this and I get it positioned where I want it, I'll take this off and I'll put blue Loctite on it and I'll tighten this down. And I mean, you don't want to put too much force on this, but you want to make sure it's tight. And then with the blue Loctite, when that dries, this isn't going to loosen up on you. So if this rubs against something or snags, or just from vibration, it won't loosen up on you, and that will help prevent this from falling off your rifle. So I'd say this is a relatively inexpensive high-rise mount, but aside from the drawbacks I mentioned, I don't see any problem with it. The fit and finish is good. It comes with this sight, so it's obviously, you can see, what it looks like when you put it on the sight there. Take it off camera for just a moment. Looks like I need to loosen it up just a smidgen. Okay, I'm just going to put that back on there. So you can see the fit and finish of it is good. It matches up lengthwise with the sight, so it definitely is presentable while it's on the rifle. There are some risers I've seen that are maybe this wide, and then it looks kind of funny on your rifle when you go with a smaller riser. But the fit and finish on this is good. I haven't used this particular one, but I can guarantee you I'll be putting Loctite not only on this bolt right here, but on this Allen bolt that you tighten down. I'll be putting some blue Loctite on that, so that will prevent those bolts from loosening up, and you run, so I won't run the risk of losing something when I'm out practicing. So that's my comments on the bracket, or the riser, and the sight, the bikini cap. I'm going to go ahead and put the CR203 battery in, and let's see if we can take a look at the red dot display. The red dot on this is a 3 MOA red dot, which is pretty damn impressive for a sub $80 sight. Obviously, a 2 MOA would be better, or a 1 MOA, but really, one of my other rifles, I've got an Aimpoint Pro on it, and it has a 2 MOA, and honestly, it's really hard for me to tell the difference between this 3 MOA red dot and a 2 MOA red dot sight. So I guess while I'm looking at the specs, before I go on to the battery, I'll give you some of the information I have on this. The weight of this sight is 6 ounces. It has 11 brightness settings. Now, Bushnell says the supplied riser block positions the sight at optimum height on flat top ARs and tactical shotguns. I don't know how they think 1/3 co-witness is optimum height. I mean, I'd want, true co-witness. To me, that's optimum, but, and they don't say they just say it positions at optimum height. It doesn't say 1/3 co-witness, but so I don't know why they avoid making any mention of that. Like I mentioned, the front lens has it's multi-coated. It's 100% waterproof, fog-proof, and shock-proof. I've confirmed that on older Bushnell TRS-25s because I've used them on calipers all the way up to 7.62 by 3.9. It is a matte black finish, so it's not a glossy finish, it's a matte black. It is not a magnified sight. It's the lens is 25 millimeters, so if you compare that to a lot of the aim points are, the larger sights are 30 millimeter. This is a 25. The field of view is unlimited. The weight, like I mentioned, well, I've got two different sets of data. I've got one that says 6 ounces. I've got another that says 6.3 ounces or 180 grams. The length is 2.4 inches or 61.8 millimeters. Eye relief is unlimited. Says the exit pupil is 22 millimeters. Click value in 100-yard increments is 0.5 or 14 millimeters at 100 meters. Adjustable range is at 100 yards is 70 or 1.9 millimeters at 100 meters. Mounting length is 1.1 inches. Millimeters, that's 28. And that's about all the technical specs I have on it that I could find on either Bushnell's website or on other websites. So let's try and get this battery installed. And let's see if I can possibly do this on camera. Have to excuse me. A lot of times I take stuff off camera because I've got my actual video camera right next to me, and if I'm not very careful, I can bump the camera or knock it over, or it also makes it very difficult for me to do anything with the camera right in the way. There's some little metal spring clips around there that kind of hold the battery in place once you put it in there. See if that makes it, yeah, it makes it kind of difficult to get the battery out. It's not going to just pop out. And of course, I'm assuming I'm putting the battery in the right direction. I haven't put a battery in a TRS-25 in a long time. And on that note, I'll just break out the owner's manual real quick and make sure I'm putting the battery in the right direction. The inside of the battery casing as well as the lid does not say positive or negative. Well, I don't see anything about how to install the battery or what orientation the battery goes. Yeah, there's no diagram for it, but there is a section in there about installing the battery, and it does say to insert the battery with the positive end towards the cap, which is the direction I did have it in, so my memory wasn't quite failing me. So it does go in that direction. Let's remove that bikini cover. We do have positive clicks as I turn this on. I'm turning up the brightness. And that is a really, sorry I'm taking it off camera again, I'm just trying to kind of put it up to my eye to and that's a really crisp red dot from what I can see. I've got it on brightness level 7. And I can't tell in my viewfinder in the camera if that's actually visible. And I can see the red dot myself on the white surface, but I can't tell if the camera's picking that up. But the dot appears to be very crisp. That's on brightness 7. And it does look to be getting just a little bit fuzzy on level 10 and 11. Still fairly crisp for a 3 MOA dot. Again, I'm not sure if the camera can pick that up, because I sure can't see it in the viewfinder. But in my recollection, compared to the older generation TRS-25 that I had, I recall those dots being a little bit more fuzzier and not as crisp as this one. This one is real crisp, very similar to the Aimpoint Pro that I have. Yeah, this is really nice. Anyway, maybe I'll drop the lights on this. See if we can get a low light shot. Maybe catch the red dot. Anyway, this does go up to 11. You do get positive clicks. They may not necessarily be audible. Sorry, I didn't have that in frame there. Probably not audible, but I can hear the clicks a little bit, and you can definitely feel these when you reach you know, the next setting. I can still see the dot at level 3. If I take it off camera, level 2, level 1. I don't think these have night vision settings, but I've never tried to use one of these with a night vision configuration. Let's see. The actual trying to think where my train of thought is. Oh yeah. I'm going to go ahead and drop the lighting here a little bit on my work area and try to see if I can capture the red dot in a low light situation. Okay, I've got most of my display lighting turned off here, so I just have some ambient lighting in the background. At least on my viewfinder here on the camera, I can definitely see the red dot. I've got it set on brightness level 5. And let's see if the camera wants to focus. That's a pretty crisp dot for a 3 MOA dot. I wouldn't say it's as crisp as the Aimpoint, but again, you know, this is an $80 sight, give or take. So that is pretty impressive. Turn the brightness down to 3. Now 4, 5, 6, 7. With the brightness on level 7. Yeah, we'll we'll kick it all the way up to level 11, which is the highest setting. That's way brighter than I would ever use it. And I don't know if the camera can actually focus on these red dots, but it's fairly crisp. 11, it looks like it's not quite as crisp. I think the crispest setting is probably 4. Probably 4 or 5, somewhere in that area from what I can tell. Maybe I'd kick back down to 4. And it's actually somewhat usable. It even seems to be usable on level 1, depending upon the situation. That's brightness level 1. Couldn't see that level 1 on the viewfinder, but I can see level 2 on the viewfinder. Anyway, what I'm going to do with this particular sight is I'm going to install this on the AR-15 pistol build, which I'm still in the process of putting together. Stay tuned. I have a upper receiver in transit that I'm going to do a review on, and I'll also do a video on the completion of the AR-15 pistol. And I'm going to do my first ever shoot. I've got a membership at a local indoor range that will allow me to film. Surprising as it sounds, most will not allow you to film inside for whatever reason they have. So it took me a while to come to an arrangement with a shooting facility that will allow me to do my videos. So also on the horizon is my first ever shooting, and I'm hoping to showcase the AR-15 pistol with some different ammunition types and how well it functions with the 7.5-inch barrel and so on. So for a sub $80 Red Dot sight, in summation here, this is an excellent buy in my opinion. Fact that it comes with a mount, the updates they've done to this makes it very well worth the money if you're doing a budget build and you can't, drop $400 on an EOTech or an Aimpoint. This is a great option. If you have a couple $100s to spend, Hollow Sun and Primary Arms has got some excellent red dot sights with removable bases. I believe, if I remember correctly, I think those are 2 MOA sights, but you're still looking at, roughly a couple $100 for those, and I believe the runtime on the battery is like something like 50,000 hours on those. And then you've got lower end Primary Arms red dots, which are much more similar to this Bushnell TRS-25, and also they're not as inexpensive. They're a little bit more money, but the feature set's similar. So I don't have anything else to add on the TRS-25 by Bushnell. We'll see it again in my shooting video for the AR-15 pistol, or you might see it as I install it on the upper receiver.